Hi everybody. Today I'd like to share with you my design team project that I finished, and this was for Country Craft Creations. I used the Authentique new collection, which is the Honor collection, as well as their older collection, the Freedom collection. They wanted me to combine the two and see what I could come up with, so that is exactly what I did. These two collections came together flawlessly and so easy. I did a military album. However, you could also make an Independence Day, 4th of July album, layouts, cards easily with these two collections. These both are available at Country Craft Creations, and I hope that you check them out. They are absolutely wonderful. The colors are great. The graphics are super. I think you're really going to be impressed whenever you see these, and I hope you like what I did with them. I will have a lot of still photos posted over at Country Craft Creations blog, as well as on my blog at cross-eyed-cricket-creations.blogspot.com. I'll put links at the end of this video for you. And I also will have materials list as to what exactly that I did use to create this. These will all be on the blog as well. So let's get started. I made a large 8x8 album. Actually, it's 8.5 by 8.5. And I also wanted to point out, I didn't know that Authentique had cardstock. I was so impressed to find out that they did, and to get some to use, and was asked to use their cardstock when constructing this album, which I did. So all of the construction on this album was strictly through Authentique's cardstock. The cool thing is, not only do they have solid cardstock, they have pattern cardstock, which is what I used on this album. This is a navy blue, and it has the lighter blue stripes running through it. I thought it was awesome. It was really easy to work with. The quality is there. I think that you'll be impressed. So check out the multitude of colors and patterns. That is a major, major, major plus, I think. What I did on this album, as you can see on the front, I have used some of the cut-aparts. I love these. These are so vintage, so retro. The graphics on these are absolutely stunning. The colors are perfect. These are so cool and so easy to work with. What I have on the front cover, I did put a booklet on the front. And I've got some stars, some silver stars on here, and these are actually appliques that I had in my stash, but I thought they went well. There's a lot of stars on some of these cut-aparts and some of the papers, so I thought that this went super. I've got this backed on some red cardstock, but all of the papers used on this album are strictly the Honor or the Freedom. The old and the new come together in this creation. Opening this booklet, super nice size. You can get a lot of photos in here. You could do a lot of journaling in here. A perfect place to add those photos or journaling of special times. There's a pocket. This fits nicely right back inside. This is a magnetic closure here on the front. I thought this was pretty cool, and what I did was I used one of the cut-aparts for the front of the closure, and this is actually a magnetized booklet. The closure is also magnetized. It keeps the album together, but this is a booklet as well. Open this, and inside, again, perfect place to do some journaling in here, make some records in here. That would be perfect to store dates, etc., of some of the important times and places perhaps that this album is geared around. Open this, again, the magnetic closure. Let me see if I can scoot this over just a little bit. And underneath, again, you have all of these very cool cut-aparts. I love these. I think they are just absolutely fabulous. I couldn't think of her name when I was showing the design team haul when I received this. That is Rosie the Riveter. It came to me the other day and I thought, my gosh, as many times as I've seen this, you would think I'd surely remember that. And then, of course, everyone knows Uncle Sam back here. And then you have this little military pinup lady. And you have another very vintage lady in the background here, and she has an aviator jacket on, if I'm not mistaken. These are all stationary, and they dress up the front of the album. I've got the plaid paper on the backing here, and at the bottom I've got some navy and white polka dot paper. Again, these are all in the collection, and I think it works super well together. Opening the album. All right, I'm going to do my best to keep us in focus here. Very, very nice size album. I have a lot going on in here. I think that, again, you can put tons of photos in here, lots and lots of space for journaling and photos. That, to me, is a very, very important part of a mini album. Inside, the inside pocket on the front cover, I've got a nice large front pocket. It has the white seam binding. And I did use a few of the scraps to go ahead and cut just a very minimal flower. Nothing too fancy. I didn't want to fancy this up since it is a military album, but I thought that kind of brought in a little bit more of the patterns. This is a booklet that I also put together. And this is a good size booklet. Inside, I left some blank pages. These, again, perfect places for photos, for journaling. You could put your photos on one side, and you could go ahead and put your photos on this side and use the cream colored side for your journaling. That would show up wonderful, and you could certainly get a lot of photos and a lot of journaling in this booklet. This fits nicely right back on the front in that pocket. And then we're over here on page 1. On page 1, there's a magnetic closure. I love this paper, don't you? The red, white, and blue stripe, only the white is kind of an antique colored. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The colors and graphics in this collection, in both of the collections, are absolutely perfect together. Again, it just went together seamlessly. I used the red seam binding. This came from Country Craft Creations. Matches these papers wonderful, as does the off-white. This isn't a stark white, and that's why it works so well. This is a magnetic closure. You lift this, let this drop. Let this drop, and you're going to lift this first panel. Very, very large. Again, tons of photos could be placed here, as well as a ton of journaling. This is a large waterfall, ladies. A perfect, perfect place for lots of photos. And underneath that waterfall, there's another bottom pocket, and inside you have got another little booklet. It's a smaller booklet. It's not a small booklet, but it's smaller than the ones on the inside cover. I did use a lot of the sticker sheets that came with this collection. They go nicely with this booklet. They blend in great, and they work so well together. This closes magnetically. Everything stays in place. You don't have to worry about anything moving or getting lost. Each page has a super large matted tag. So each page has the top load super large matted tag, and I've used some of the papers from the collections to go ahead and mat those large tags. So each one has one. Turning this first page, okay, there's another bottom pocket, and again I've used some of the stickers from the sheet to go ahead and make some embellishments to add on. I've used some narrow ribbon to kind of bring this all together, and it's in two sections, but it's tied together so it looks like it's all one piece. The tie is finished off on the bottom pocket. I have another booklet again. I love the idea of having plenty of places to add photos and journaling. I think that's so, so important So this is a smaller size in height and width, but it has several pages, and again, lots and lots of space to add those photos and journaling. I've got one of the stickers from the collection that says Freedom on the bottom, another that just has the blue stars, another that has Glory. So a perfect little booklet. Again, smaller but not tiny by any means, to add tons of photos. So there's so much space in this album. On this page, again, I've got another one of those stickers, and I've triple matted that so that it really stands out. I've got some red seam binding running down the side. Look at the graphics. The graphics are all basically red, white, and blues, of course, to tie in with either a military theme or with an Independence Day theme. This is a super large matted tag. Again, another perfect place to add those photos and our journaling. You can't have too many places in your albums for that. That's the whole purpose of the album. They all, again, have the top load, very large matted tags. All of them have a super large top load. Turning the page, you have a side pocket. This is embellished. I did use some stars. I went ahead and used my my die cutter, and I've cut some red, and I used the background cardstock from Authentique, the blue striped, and I've cut stars from that as well. Again, this is their cardstock. It's awesome. I've got the blue seam binding, which goes with this collection perfectly. I've got that to set the side pocket off. The patterns on this page, this is a musical pattern. This, of course, has your red, white, and blue stripes and stars. Love it. I have another booklet. This is set off in your red seam binding with just a little bit of gold trim. Got a star here, and inside there's one of the stickers that I've got matted, and it says Celebrate. This is the back side of that blue striped cardstock. So it's a double-sided pattern cardstock. I just think that is so cool. I think it's good enough. The pattern on it and the weight of it is good enough to stand alone to use it that way. How perfect is that? This page, this is something a little bit different. Okay, first of all, it looks like a wide envelope here on the bottom. You're going to lift this seal, which is magnetic. Lift this and pull this out, and it's actually a trifold. It is a trifold. You can get a lot of materials on here, ladies. A lot of photos, a lot of journaling, and underneath you've got a nice large matted tag. And what I've done with this one is I've left a space at the bottom. This is a journaling space. I like to make these sometimes. I think this is the perfect place to go ahead and write a date, just a note about the photo that you're going to place here. That way you've got all the information right there about that particular photo. This would hold a super nice large photo. I've got another couple of the sticker sheets, a couple of the small little tags. Again, these are matted and set off with a little bit of the blue ribbon, and I've popped these up to give this some dimension. I've got the blue seam binding. Love the seam binding. I love that it comes already colored and it matches most of these papers and most of these collections that you can get. It matches them perfectly, so you don't have to worry about trying to color it anymore to match. It's done for you. On this page, again, I've got some dimension going on here. I've got some of these pop dotted up with some pop dotted stars that I've gone ahead and punched out there. And on this page, I've also got Brave. This is another one of the sticker sheets. We've got the super wide belly band going across the center. And we've got the stop at the bottom that coordinates with the detail along the side. Two very nice size matted tags. You can get some nice size photos on here. You can get a lot of journaling on here as well. a perfect place for all those photos. And again, holds a ton. This page, again, very interactive. Don't you love this? See the striping on this background paper? Not background paper, the cardstock. Look at this, is the back side of the cardstock. I just think this is so cool that there's cardstock of this quality and it has patterns. I love that. I absolutely love that. On this one, you're going to open this magnetic flap. I've got your red, white, and blues on here. I've got this trimmed in the blue seam binding. And this is the back side of one of the papers. Again, these are all double-sided papers. And I've got a bottom stop here, and the stop is made again from one of the stickers from the sheet. And I've got this matted, your blue seam binding running down the edge, and I've got 2 matted tags here. Perfect place for journaling. You could journal on one and put a photo on the other. Another large area for photos. And on the base page, I've got a bottom side pocket. And inside, again, one of my faves, to leave that journaling place at the bottom. I just think that's really a cool idea. I like that idea. And then another matted tag here. So this album is nice and full. Lots and lots of stuff going on in this album, but I think it all flows wonderfully. And again, this is 2 collections that came together. With the magnetic closure, it keeps those mats and tags and photos all nice and safe and secure and in one place. This page has the 2 side pockets that come down and meet in the center. I've got another matted sticker from the collection and another very large matted tag. Perfect place, ladies, for the photos. Perfect. This page, I've got a large bottom pocket. This is magnetized, so I have it hanging over the edge of the pocket, and then it stays nicely placed because of the magnet. I've got this embellished with a pretty narrow blue ribbon. And inside, again, ample space to do a lot of journaling or add some photos. The blue seam binding sets off that bottom pocket perfectly. Again, I've got my stars that I've ran through the entire album to bring it all together. I think that's a nice little touch, and I think it works well. On this page, again, there's a magnetic flap here, and I have another one of their beautiful cut-aparts. These cut-aparts, I can't say enough about them. I love them. One is just as cool as the next. They are fabulous. You open this, and I've got some stars to finish off some decoration on the inside of that magnetic flap. I've got a bottom pocket over here with the red seam binding, and I've got another matted sticker up here that says USA. Aren't the colors and the patterns of these papers fabulous? That's why I'm saying they can be used either for military or Independence Day. I mean, they're that versatile. I've used, this is their cardstock. See how it's double-sided? It's a super nice weight. It's easy to work with. It works great together. And I've gone ahead and I've made 3 very nice sized tags. These fit perfectly right back inside. Photos and journaling. Yes, please. Plenty of space for it. On this page, I've constructed a handmade envelope. I have the I Love USA matted here, and this actually keeps the envelope closed. You lift that flap and pull this tag. And actually, again, I have another one of my favorites. I call these the journaling tags. So you can actually journal on the bottom, put a date, put a name if you're putting a photo here. That way, You have all the information right there. You don't ever lose track of what day that photo was taken or who that photo is of. Have you ever done that? Doesn't that drive you berserk whenever you're like, I know this, I just can't remember. So that's a perfect place to kind of keep that information all together. Again, all of the pages have the large top loads. Okay, this is the last page. You turn this page, and my favorite, you all know, are my waterfalls. I love them. I love them so much because they take up a small footprint. However, they offer so much space for photos and journaling. I think that is just the most awesome thing. I went ahead and I used another one of the cut-aparts. This says, Lest We Forget. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And again, I've gone ahead, and this is a magnetic closure that holds this closed. I didn't want to use ribbon so much on this, with it being more, I think, geared towards the military. I kind of wanted to keep things, I didn't want to, foo-foo them up, if you will. This is a small booklet again, even though it's the closure, and you open this up, and again, here's places that you can make notes, add dates, even put some more photos here. I've got a couple of the little punched out stars to kind of dress it up a little bit. You lift this open, and inside you've got the waterfall. Beautiful. I've used the pages, the pattern papers from the collections to complete this waterfall. And I've left ample space at the bottom here. I've got this so that it's scored. You've got probably, about 1/4 of an inch where you can add photos to that waterfall without them being in any distress. And this is ample to keep them closed, but it allows for the extra space for the photos. The inside back cover, again, like the front cover, I've got a nice wide pocket, and it's embellished with the seam binding, the off-white seam binding, and I've got just a simple flower that I went ahead and constructed out of some of the pattern papers. And I've got another one of the good size booklets in the back. So tons and tons of space in this, ladies. Tons and tons of space to add photos and journaling. Oh my gosh, I really truly enjoyed creating this album. It was a pleasure, and I had no problem getting everything to flow together in this collection. Actually, in both of these collections, because I did put the two together. Let me show you the rest of this. Let's stand this up. Okay. Look. This is a magnetic closure on the front. We're going to turn it to the side. And what I have on the spine, I hope you can see, not very well yet. Okay. I have lots of ribbon that coordinates with the album itself. I have some that has stars. The bulk of it is, of course, red and blue. This is a key, looks like an old-fashioned key, and this is like this is a leather piece, and it looks like a stamp from perhaps a letter or a postcard. Again, the beautiful, beautiful pattern papers. On the back, I've used another one of the cut-aparts on the magnetic closure, and I always include my stamp at the bottom that I mat to kind of coordinate with the album, but to finish it off. I hope that you liked what I've came up with here for you. I think that it was just an absolute pleasure to create this. I hope that you will check this out. Again, I will have the video up here on my blog and on Country Craft Creations, and I also will have tons of still photos on the blogs as well. So stop back in, ladies. Thank you for stopping by, and these collections are available over at Country Craft Creations. I think they're fabulous. I know you're going to love them, so check them out. Thanks, and stop back again.